heritage.
We are heritage!
Yeah! We are heritage.
We are heritage!
I am heritage.
Hey, I'm Mr. R. I'm one of the counselors here at Heritage. I'm hanging out with Gumby, and the real truth is that you are Heritage. What I mean by that is, if you weren't here, then we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here, administrators wouldn't be here, teachers wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for the students, we wouldn't have Heritage High School. So the fact that you are Heritage is part of the reason why we're doing this video. We're already starting to work on next year's classes. And the bottom line is, for you to have the most successful year possible, you got to pick the best classes possible. For the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey. Your homeroom teacher is going to be with you. We're going to help you fill out your course selection sheet for next year. Couple things, kind of ground rules before we get going. It's important to do this right the first time. We all know that when you need a schedule change next year, by the time you get to our office and you actually find the right counselor and you do the whole process, it can be a real pain. So from the beginning, let's try to think through this and be as accurate as possible the first time. Secondly, I want to keep in mind, you want to keep in mind what the graduation requirements are. As you're going through your course selection, we'll get into graduation requirements in a little bit, but think about what you need to graduate and plan accordingly. Also, another thing, at the end of this, we're going to ask you to take it home, and we're going to get you to go through it with your parents, and we're going to have you sign and your parents sign that you've actually agreed on these courses. So make sure you take this home, talk about it with your parents, and then whatever the deadline is, we want you to be aware of that deadline. And your homeroom teacher has that deadline. It's printed on your sheet. But be very aware that we would like you to have that back to the counseling office by the deadline. Okay? So, get ready. We're gonna talk through your courses over the next few minutes, and hopefully Gumby and I will do our part to get you through. I'm going to give you a couple things. Before we start looking at the actual sheet, I'm going to give you a few instructions. At the top of the sheet, you should see your name on a label. If you do not have your name on that label, then make sure you tell somebody, because you'll be picking someone else's classes. So make sure you've got that name on the top is your name. And right next to it, there's a box that you should be able to put in your contact information. So right now, I need you to go ahead and put in contact information for how we can get a hold of you if there's a question as we're designing your schedule. On the bottom of that section, you'll see that it has a line for program of study. If you can pick a program of study, we want you to put it in that right now. If you're not sure by the end of this course selection video exactly what you're doing, don't worry. We'll get there. Okay? Oh, I was waiting for you to finish that section. All right, so we've got your name on the top. You've put in your contact information now. Let me do this real quick before we start. I want to take you through what the graduation requirements are. If you don't know what it takes to graduate, you're not going to know how to do this. So, real quick, I'm a visual kind of person, and so I've got my beautiful whiteboard back here. I'm going to write what the graduation requirements are. Graduation requirements. Number 1, you're going to need 4 Englishes to graduate high school. You're going to need 4 math credits to graduate high school. Of those 4 math credits, okay, so in order to graduate, you have to take a math all 4 years of high school now. And that's the sequence that you have to have in order to graduate. You're also going to need 3 sciences, so one of them has to be biology, and one of them has to be either chemistry or physics. Okay? Next graduation requirement, social studies. Okay? You're going to need 4 social studies those 4 in order to graduate. Okay, you with me? You're going to need physical fitness. One and a half credits of PE. 1.5 credits of PE. Most of you have taken a wellness, and then you'll do a half a credit of personal fitness. Okay? You're also going to need 1 fine arts credit. One fine arts credit for everybody who graduates. You need to do at least 1 fine arts credit. Foreign language. You're going to need 2 foreign language. All right? And then we're going to do, I'm getting squishy down here, a half a credit of personal finance, which you guys usually get in combination with that half a credit of personal fitness. And then we're going to do 3 credits in a program of study. As well, here in Blount County, there is one other requirement that Blount County asks for you to do, and it's 1 credit of computer apps. So you put that all together, and that's what you need to graduate. Okay? Okay, we're done with that.
It's ready.
We're good? We're rolling?
Yeah.
Yes, we are rolling. Hey, I'm Mr. R, counselor at Heritage High School. What's up? Seniors or almost seniors? We're going on to Section 1. In Section 1, you are going to select an English class, a math class, and a science class. All right, so let's talk about English for a second. There are 3 different options for English. You're going to take, there's a regular English 4, there's an honors English 4, and then there's the AP English 4. You need to circle your choice right now for which one you're going to take next year. Remember that you're going to need a teacher signature for honors or AP English, and there's a spot for your teacher to sign right next to the class that you select. The way we're doing these selection sheets is we're going to go and just have you circle neatly the class that you want to take. By the time you're done, you'll have 10 classes circled, and you'll have 4 classes that will be circled with an A next to them, and those will be your alternates. Okay, so right now under English, circle your choice for next year. Moving on to math. Math, as seniors, you guys could have a million different combinations. So I'm just going to break down a few of the scenarios and listen up for these scenarios to see which one you're in. All right, if you are right now in Algebra 2, then next year you could be taking a bridge math class. If you struggled through Algebra 2, and you just barely made it through, you're going to want to take a bridge math. You could be taking a trigonometry math, or you could be taking finite math. As far as difficulty goes and the skill level that you're going to need, it's going to, trig and finite are close, but finite is actually going to need some extra skill. So if you have not taken trigonometry, then do not sign up for finite math. But if you are in the situation where you've taken Algebra 2 and you're trying to determine what your next math class is, then you're probably choosing between trigonometry and bridge math. Okay? If you have already made it to trig and you're checking on what your next options are, you're going to either go to Precalculus or you're going to go to finite math. This year, seniors who did not take both trig and Precalculus in their junior year, but waited. Some of them have really struggled with the Precalculus class, and so if you've taken trig this year and you're wondering what to do next year, finite could be a good option for you. Now, if you've taken trig and Precalculus this year and you're ready for calculus, you can take the AP Calculus, or you can take AP Prob and Stats. So there are lots of different options. If you have more questions about the math, see your math teacher or see one of the counselors, and we'll help you determine what math would be best for you. Make a math selection right now, though. Okay, you've selected English, you've selected math. We're moving on now to science. A lot of seniors will have already taken 3 sciences. Remember, you have to have a biology, you have to have a chemistry or physics, one of those, and then you need a 3rd science. So senior year, there's a couple cool options. One of them is the ecology class. If you've already finished and you've gotten really good grades, check the prerequisites for ecology, but that's a good option. I want to say something to seniors who are STEM in the STEM studios. If you have not taken the scientific research class this year, then next year you need to sign up for the scientific research class because that's a requirement for a STEM certification. Okay? Other than that, just take a look at your transcript. Make sure you have 3 sciences. If you need a 3rd science, make sure you select one now. If you desire to take additional sciences, then you can see them listed. Go ahead and select the one that's most appropriate for you. Okay? All right, moving on to section 2. In this section, we're going to be dealing with social studies. We're going to be dealing with foreign language and PE. Okay, so let's break down social studies first. Right now, all rising seniors are going to select a government and an economics. In government, we have a regular government class and an honors option. You'll also see an early bird selection. If you know that you're going to be full with classes and you want to take the early bird government, go ahead and select that, but that will only be an honors class. On the economics, everybody needs to select an economics unless you have taken marketing. If you have taken marketing, then the economics graduation requirement is actually fulfilled by that class. Doesn't mean you can't take economics, but you can use the marketing for your economics credit. Okay? So at this point, every senior needs to make sure that you have a government and an economics selected. Moving on to foreign language. Foreign language at this point is a graduation requirement. Remember, you need 2 in the same language. So you need to look at your transcript and see if you've got Spanish 1, you might need Spanish 2. If you've had French 1, you might need French 2. If you have both of your years completed, you do not need to take a foreign language unless you would like to. And in that case, you can choose either Spanish 3-4 or French 3. Okay? Fairly simple foreign language. Okay. Getting tired. Moving on to physical education. Maybe I need a little bit more physical education. Okay, I'm getting plenty of exercise from my mouth right now. Really a lot of talking right now from my mouth. I really feel like I might need to get up and take a closer look. Are you guys still awake? Are you alive in there? Okay, just making sure. All right. Okay, everybody all right here? I'm just going to sit back down. Just taking a little break there. Kind of got to stretch a little bit, make sure. You okay? You alive? Do you need a snack? I don't have any, sorry. PE. Okay, you can have a couple different options for PE. Really, at this point, most of you should have completed your requirements in PE. Some of you haven't. We'll get to those in just a second. But for the most part, PE is going to be an elective. Okay, you can take team sports or you can take strength and conditioning. Now, very, very critical for rising seniors. Listen to me for a second. Actually, I need you to listen to this about strength and conditioning. Some very, very important things going on. Strength and conditioning. Strength and conditioning. Strength and conditioning. Strength and conditioning. Did you hear me? Strength and conditioning, important changes. Okay? Listen up. Pay attention. All right, you good? We rolling? Okay. I was saying strength and conditioning. The strength and conditioning is going to be really important because we're doing some changes. If you guys are athletes and you want to take strength and conditioning and your coaches have told you that you need to take strength and conditioning, I need you to listen up for a second because we're going to have several different options for you. If you are this is going to be for strength and conditioning. Okay, number 1, if you are a football player, I want you to select the strength and conditioning that has football in the description. You need to circle that strength and conditioning. Okay? If you play boys basketball, then you need to choose the strength and conditioning that has boys basketball in the description. Okay? If you play girls basketball, then you need to choose the one that has girls basketball in the description. Okay? And lastly, if you just play a sport that is not one of these three sports, but your coach has told you that they want you in strength and conditioning, then you need to choose strength and conditioning for athletes. Okay? And one more thing, if you are an athlete and you need to take strength and conditioning in the fall and the spring, then I just want you to circle the description that says fall, spring, or it says fall and spring. This isn't going to count as one of your classes, but it just lets us know that whatever one of these strength and conditionings you're in, you need it to be in both fall and spring. All right? Now, if you're not an athlete, but you still want to choose to take strength and conditioning, then you are going to pick the strength and conditioning that is for non-athletes. We want everybody to have a chance to take strength and conditioning. Just because you don't compete in a sport doesn't mean you can't take it. But we need you to make sure to select the strength and conditioning that says non-athlete in the description. Go. Alright, we're done with that section. We've now finished the first two sections of your course selection sheet. Okay? We are moving on to section, section 3. Okay? This is where we are putting some of the other graduation requirements that somehow, some way, you might have missed. You probably, as rising seniors, have taken all these classes. But in section 3, you need to look at those requirements and make sure that you have had all of them. We're talking about computer applications, wellness, that personal fitness, personal finance requirement. There are some miscellaneous classes. We want you to make sure you've had them. If you have not had any of those classes, you will need to select which ones you need because those are graduation requirements. Okay? So make your selections right now. Moving on, section 4. Isn't that exciting? Section 4, very exciting. Section 4 is going to be all about credit recovery. If you know of a class that you failed that's a graduation requirement that you have not made up yet, first of all, you probably need to go to summer school to make it up. If you know you're not going to make it to summer school, then next year we're going to have to make up that credit. So right now, any class that you need to take that is a credit recovery class that you failed that is a requirement, you need to select that class to take in credit recovery. All right? Very important. Okay? Now, section 5. We're in section 5. Here's the deal with section 5. As seniors, there are a few circumstances that are going to be unique to you. If any of these apply to you, then we want you to circle that circumstance. All right? Here they are. Early graduates. If you are planning to finish in December of your senior year, you need to circle early graduate. All right? Number 2, if you are planning to do any kind of dual enrollment at Pellissippi or Maryville or some other college online, you need to circle dual enrollment and you need to talk with Ms. Kybers. She is the counselor that is over dual enrollment. Okay? Number 3, here's the way we're going to work with early dismissal. As seniors, you know that you have the opportunity to early dismiss for 4th and 5th block. If you know for sure that you are going to dismiss for 4th and 5th block, then I want you to circle early dismiss 4th and 5th block. If you know that you're going to early dismiss but you're only going to do 5th block, then circle early dismiss 5th block. All right? If you think you might possibly maybe one day think about early dismissing, but you're not sure, then I would not circle early dismissal. Go ahead and register for classes And then if an opportunity opens up and you want to change your schedule, then we can move you into early dismissal. The other items are peer teaching. If you would like to be a peer teacher, then we want you to select peer teaching. And if you would like to be a service learner, then we want you to go ahead and select service learning. Okay? These are not guarantees. Both of these programs are conditional, but if you want to do them, go ahead and circle it, and we'll see if you meet the qualifications. Okay? Everybody okay? All right, we're working forward here. We should be in section 6. We're talking about programs of study. You guys remember that you have to have a program of study to graduate from Heritage High School. This is 3 classes in the same area. All right? We've got them all listed for you, and here's what you need to know about programs of study. Okay, so programs of study. We're going to go back to my fancy whiteboard here. Okay? Okay, and I'm going to try to show you what the different programs of study are. First one I want to talk about is ROTC. The new structure for ROTC is going to work like this. Okay? As usual, as sophomores, if you're in the ROTC program, you're going to select ROTC 2 or Aerospace 2. Okay? However, under the new structure of the ROTC program, here's how it's going to work. You're only going to need 3 credits to finish the program instead of 4. Now you're going to need 3. Okay? The first 2 will cover your wellness credit. You'll still need to do 2 levels to cover your wellness. Okay? The third one is going to cover your personal fitness and your personal finance. So once you complete the 3rd level of ROTC, you will complete the program of study, plus you'll get credit for wellness and personal fitness and personal finance. The 4th level will be more of a senior leadership type of position, but it will not be required to finish the program of study. Okay? Next program of study is Fine Arts. Okay? The only thing you need to know about this is you still have to do 1 Fine Arts for your graduation requirement, and then you need 3 additional credits in Fine Arts to complete the program of study. So a total of 4 Fine Arts credit is required to complete this program of study. What's next? Okay. Yes, that awesome idea. Love it. Love it. All right. Number 3 is going to be a humanities program of study. Now, here's the way it works. You'll see the list on your sheet, but classes like creative writing, mythology, speech are some of the English classes. There's 2 types of mythology classes this year. They're doing a regular mythology and they're doing a world mythology. Those are all going to count as humanities credits. In the social studies department, the psychology, sociology, contemporary issues, Bible history, the new class Appalachian Studies, those will all count as humanities credits. So if you're interested in pursuing that program of study, you're going to need 3 of those credits to count as humanities program of study.
Yeah.
Right? We also have math and science. In order to do a math and science program of study, you have to complete 3 credits above and beyond the requirements for math and science. And then the same thing applies for the AP or Advanced Placement program of study. If you have 3 credits in Advanced Placement classes, then you'll complete the program of study in AP. So the last big one, okay, which has lots of different areas, is a program of study in an area of CTE or career technical education. If you know your program of study is going to be one of these 5, then on the bottom of your course selection sheet, you need to circle the next appropriate class or the classes that you need in order to complete that program of study. Okay? If you are in a program of study that's in CTE, then you need to turn your course selection sheet to the next page, and you will see all of the classes that are broken down into the clusters of their program of study. Go ahead now and take a few minutes to look over that program of study, look at all of the different options, and choose the classes that you're going to take next year.
We are Heritage.
I'm Miss Hedrick, and I work with the 9th graders.
I'm Ms. Kybers, and I work with students with last names A through G.
I'm Mr. R. If you're H through O, you belong to me.
I'm Ms. Whitehouse, P through Z.
So by now you've completed your course request forms. You've circled 10 classes with 4 alternates marked with an A.
And we know you may have some questions. That's why we're going to be here in the cafeteria for the next week to help you out. In the mornings, at lunch, and after school.
And make sure to pay attention to that deadline that's at the bottom of your paper.
Important. Deadline. Deadline. Make sure. Really make sure you get them back by the deadline. Are you aware? Are you hearing me? Okay. Deadline. We hope you have a great year next year. You finish your course selection. Congratulations. We'll see you then.
Get my belly all the way in there.